Our group has chosen to focus on mental depression in Chennai, India. Depression is one of the most overlooked illnesses because many people think that depression simply means that the individual is feeling sad. The people of Chennai deal with the stressors of everyday life that can lead to depression, from stressing over work to deal with family complications. According to the CURE study, 25,455 out of 26,000 people participated. 49.3% of males and 50.6% of females admitted that they are facing depression. We will first seek to raise awareness for depression through a citywide advertising campaign. Until depression is recognized as an actual disease that needs treatment, little improvement will be made to treat it and lessen its effects on the population of Chennai. Our campaign will include educational materials, beginning with billboards, radio and television advertisements, pass-along cards, flyers, and brochures. We will utilize the general population as well as local businesses, doctor's office, and public places to distribute these materials. The advertising materials will introduce the topic of depression and refer people to contact our program through phone or through our website. Those that contact through the phone can ask questions about depression and receive on-the-spot counseling from an on-call therapist right over the phone. It can also be sent to our educational brochure that will explain the signs and symptoms of depression. Our website will provide these same information in written form. Our website and phone operators will also provide callers with information about depression, informational sessions which should be held in local schools, town hall meeting sessions, and anywhere else where they might be requested. These meetings will provide more in-depth information about depression, its causes, treatment, and resources for those suffering from depression. Other than creating awareness for depression, our other main focus is to provide the people of Chennai with a free resource that can call upon in times of need. We will provide access to a free support network that's accessible by phone to any person that feels they're in need of support for depression. This depression hotline will be a free service. Those suffering from depression will be able to call the phone number and be immediately connected to an operator that will then connect to an on-call counselor who can provide a listening ear, advice. It can also refer the person for further services to help combat the depression that they might not have been aware of before.
We will seek to make this program beneficial for the community in more ways than one. We will first seek to staff our hotline with volunteer registered counselors and psychologists. This network of counselors and psychologists will undergo a training session on how best to handle calls about depression over the phone. We will also extend these training classes to ordinary citizens who would like to receive education and counseling from our program. They will be able to work as volunteers on our hotline as a first line of contact. They will be able to provide basic support to callers, as well as refer callers to a directory of counselors and psychologists in their particular area. This training and experience will provide a marketable skill for those involved, as well as valuable field experience dealing with people who suffer from depression. They can then use this certification and experience to find work. Each member of the hotline team will be provided with a smartphone that will be devoted solely to answering calls about depression and storing information to give to callers. Counselors will work on a rotating basis and be on call for a 12-hour shift to field calls. This service will go around the clock, ensuring that there is always support for callers when they need it. Our proposed project does come with many expenses, but they are still very manageable. We will first have advertising cost. We have created a brochure, a flyer, and a pass-along card with our information. These will need to be translated, printed, and distributed. We will place billboards and posters in strategic areas around the city. We will run a series of radio and television commercials as public service announcements. We will utilize public areas like schools and city buildings for meeting space to host our awareness meetings. Simultaneously, we will launch our hotline. We will equip our rotating group of volunteers, each with a smartphone. These will have monthly cost for service and data, as well as the initial cost of the phones. There will also be the cost of an operator service to route the calls to our counselors. We will initially need assistance from nonprofit organizations to begin our intervention. These could include the National Alliance on Mental Illness, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, Anxiety and Depression Association of America, the Minds Foundation, the Richmond Fellowship Society, SNEHI, SCARF, NIMHANS, and the Chennai City Government. This funding will cover our initial efforts to recruit and train counselors for our hotline and to recruit more counselors and psychologists to be part of our referral directory. The second source of income for the project will come in the form of donations from our referral directory counselors and doctors. In return for being put on our referral list, each doctor and counselor will be asked to donate monthly. This will be beneficial to our cause because it will provide a sustainable source of income for the project. Psychologists and counselors will benefit by increased business and income from the referrals we will provide through our hotline. Those psychologists and counselors who volunteer their time as part of our hotline will be placed on the referral list for free. The biggest barrier that we've encountered so far is simply not being familiar with the culture and the language of Chennai. We've had a harder time finding advertising and printing costs there in the country. We've also had a hard time locating an operating service that suits our needs. We would want to have an operator available 24/7 to route our calls from the main number to one of the cell phones of the counselors and have not been able to locate such a specific service as of yet. We might also have a hard time trying to staff the call center around the clock. If this were the case, we could possibly reduce the hours that we offer the service. Our biggest obstacle in getting a program like this up and running will be funding. We have found possible sources of funding, but have not been able to confirm that this project would be funded long term. Despite the challenges of starting such an innovative program, we are confident that through determined, honest self-examination and hard work, our program can help combat depression for a happier and healthier population.